Hello and welcome to the PardeuxRaids.com raid guide. I am Pardeux and I will be talking you through the 25-man Garalon encounter. Garalon is the third encounter in the Heart of Fear raid and is a one-phase fight, during which you will kite him while dodging his abilities. At the beginning of the fight, he will attack the first player who gets threat, so your first kiter should be the player who pulls the boss. Because of the lack of traditional tanking, ranged players will get the opportunity to kite the boss. The first person to get threat on the boss will get a debuff known as pheromones. The boss will begin chasing that player, and that player will also begin dropping orange pools on the ground called pheromone trail. These pools never go away, so it is important for the kiter to drop these along the outer edge of the room. Standing in the pools does significant damage, so no player should stand within them. While kiting, the player with pheromones will gain a stack of pungency every 2 seconds. This causes pheromones to deal more damage to the player and the entire raid. Once you begin approaching 15 to 20 stacks, the damage becomes substantial and can begin overwhelming healers. In order to avoid a wipe, a rotation of kiters should be established and the next kiter will move into position and run onto the current kiter in order to gain the pheromones debuff. Kiters will also retain the pungency debuff for 2 minutes, so they must wait before kiting again. Because of positioning of the raid and the kiters, one healer will need to be assigned to heal the kiter. This healer is usually within range of the tanks as well, so a tank healer makes a great choice. Each time the pheromones debuff is passed, the boss will cast the ability Crush. This causes a significant amount of raid-wide physical damage, so you will want to ensure you are only passing the pheromones when they are at least 15 stacks. There is also a large purple zone directly under the boss. Players who enter this area will trigger the boss to use his Crush ability. Players should avoid ever entering this area. His hitbox is quite large, so melee should never even get near the purple zone. In order to require tanks for this fight, and to make the kiting even more challenging, the boss has an ability called Furious Swipe. This is a frontal cleave which will likely kill any non-tank player caught within it. It requires 2 people to get hit by it, or else the boss will get stacks of fury, which will increase his move speed and damage. Your tanks need to ensure that they both get hit by this ability every time, while your kiters and assigned healer will need to avoid it. I found that when the kiter is in the corner of the room, this is the most dangerous position in terms of avoiding Furious Swipe. Kiters can cut the corners when needed to avoid the swipe. This makes the pheromone trail drops a little bit less optimal, but saves the kiter, which is much more important. In summary, as a kiter you will worry less about the boss hitting you and a lot more about where you are dropping pools, the number of pungency stacks, and the furious swipes. The healers will want to plan cooldowns for when pungency stacks are high to ensure that the raid can survive the subsequent crush as you pass it on. The raid needs to be topped before the crush ability happens. The timing and communication for this is important, so be organized and vocal about the trades. I have been talking about what makes the kiting harder, but there is also a key mechanic involving the legs which makes it easier. The boss has 4 legs that can all be damaged and temporarily broken. This slows him and damages his overall health pool. DPS should be killing the legs while they are up. DPS who stand within the blue circles around the legs will also gain a 100% bonus to damage against the legs. This adds even more incentive to kill the legs quickly and allows players to stack inside to help make their job easier. Also, while the boss has broken legs, he moves much more slowly, making it nearly impossible for him to ever melee the pheromone player. But take note, as the fight goes on, the boss can mend his legs, which means DPS will need to switch back and re-break them. I talked a lot about the kiting aspect of this fight, and for good reason. It is the most vital. If your kiter is dying to swipes, the boss will cast Crush much more frequently, which will likely wipe your raid. Stacking pungency too high will also cause a wipe. Not communicating when you are passing, which will likely catch your healers off guard, meaning the Crush may kill some people. Much of this fight is centered around perfecting the kiting route and the passing of the debuff. Master those key elements, and this fight should be a nice addition to your WoW progress profile. Thank you for tuning in to another raid guide by PardeuxRaids.com. I hope this guide has been helpful for your guild and your progression. Feel free to check out other resources provided at my site and to leave questions and comments. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Twitter at PardeuxRaids for information on the most recent updates to my site and videos. Also, don't forget to stay involved for your chance to win monthly prizes, including the coveted Razor rating peripherals. Complete details can be found at PardeuxRaids.com under the prize giveaway section.